Hi, everybody. I am Allison from Absolute Pilates, and I am so excited to be here virtually to talk to you about rebuilding the foundation Pilates for breast cancer. Um, I have done a form of this presentation for a couple of years at the PA Breast Cancer Coalition's annual meeting, and I'm happy to be coming to you virtually. And the one great thing for me in this is that the ability of the studio to reach different parts of the community and the state has expanded because we are providing a lot of our services virtually these days. So I'm here in my living room because I decided I wanted to show you that you can do this stuff no matter where you are. So you didn't need to be in the studio with me. As long as you've got a little bit of space in your house, we can work through the Pink Ribbon program together. And hopefully I will give you some resources that you can use today on your own, whether you're a survivor, a caregiver, or a clinician. So let me just get into a little bit of talking about Pilates. So Pilates began in World War I. So yes, Joe Pilates founded Pilates. So it was a person that started this method, and he was living in England and German when World War I broke out, and he was placed into an internment camp. And in the internment camp, Joe worked as a nurse, and he used his time there working as a nurse to develop this method. He was super talented in his thoughts and very forward thinking. So he was able to take springs from hospital cots and turn them into modes of exercise for his fellow prisoners. So if you've ever been on a Pilates reformer or tower, you can kind of now draw a connection to that hospital cot. One of the questions that we get in the studio all the time that comes with Pilates is, what came first, the equipment or the mat work? What is better? What should I do? I am very partial to the equipment work. But that being said, these last 6 months have really brought my belief and strong foundation into the mat work. They're really two different art forms. One didn't necessarily come before the other. One's not necessarily better than the other. They're very different. The equipment does give you a lot of feedback because it is a machine that you are working in, whereas in the mat, you are moving your own body. That being said, there are a lot of things we can do on the mat to make this considerably more comfortable for people that have issues and things going on. So you'll see some of that when I do some demonstrating later. But there are 6 principles of Pilates, and we will fit them into every lesson. So centering, you're bringing the work and all of your focus into your center, focusing on strengthening everything around your center. Pilates requires a lot of concentration because you're moving your body to strengthen your core. Every move that we do is done with control and with precision. We also are very focused as Pilates instructors and practitioners on breathing and flowing through the exercise. So you'll always be moving with your breath in some manner. We don't ever want to see anyone holding their breath, and we're going to flow. And in fact, if you ever see somebody who's done a lot of mat work over time, it could almost look like a gymnastics routine because they can flow those exercises right together one after another. And I think that Pilates is the perfect way to move better and feel better in your everyday life, no matter what you have going on or what phase of life you're in now. So on to Pink Ribbon Pilates. So this is about getting back to living, not just surviving, so that you're feeling good in your skin, in your body, and living every day to its fullest. We talk about Pink Ribbon program. It's the ability to regain your sense of well-being that may have been lost as you're going through treatment and all of the processes and steps. And the same thing for the caregivers as they're sitting with you through appointments and just being there as your support person. They need to move too. I have done my fair amount of time sitting as a caregiver, and it is hard on the body. Not like going through treatment, but it's a different type of challenge for people. And I like to think that this is also something that can provide some support to caregivers to help them move their body in a time when they need to also be ready to give back to the person that they're supporting. So this is not necessarily therapy. It is not physical therapy. It is not lymph therapy. This is a movement type of therapy for your body that helps you face the challenges that you are facing every day stronger, more resilient, and more comfortable. So we're putting a lot of focus in the Think Rhythm program on stretching and strengthening the shoulders, the chest, and the back. That's because that's where most people that come to me or to any other Pink Rhythm practitioner are going to be talking about where they're hurting, where they're feeling stiff, where things just don't feel right. Uh, so the Think Rhythm program is 4 phases. I don't necessarily think that they last 2 to 4 weeks, but the founder, who is a survivor herself, felt that you should spend 2 to 4 weeks in each phase. So first phase is working on increasing range of motion in the shoulder and stabilizing your scapula and working on expanding your chest. In the second phase, we're working on more stability and strength and range of motion. And in the third phase, we're adding lower body strengthening and stability exercises. So at that point, you're getting kind of a whole body workout while you're doing Pilates. And then in the fourth phase, we're adding resistance training. I have some different workouts that I've recorded throughout the coronavirus times that I'll be sharing with you that definitely take you through some of the different phases and share different things. Today, what we're going to do is more basic things and a little quick couple bursts. So one of the benefits is that we're looking at regaining shoulder strength and mobility of your affected, if they're even affected side or both sides. One of the things that is also great to look at is this is a good way to mark symmetry. So if you have one arm that is of a greater effect, just challenging yourself to use that arm, have them both work together. It helps promote lymphatic drainage and to prevent lymphedema. Again, it's not the same thing as lymph therapy, but it is going to get your body moving, which is going to get those fluids moving, which is going to complement it as long as you're at a safe place to go ahead and do those things. It's about improving your functional ability and quality of life. Definitely restoring and enhancing our posture. I know that for myself, despite the fact that I've been a movement instructor throughout this coronavirus pandemic, I have spent some more time sitting than I probably should have, along with many other people. Exercise has been proven across the board to decrease strength and anxiety, whether you're going through treatment or you're going through a pandemic. Getting up and getting moving is definitely critical to the body. And it alleviates pain and swelling as long as it's done properly and safely. More recently, we're going to talk about 2 sort of buzz things that have been out in the fitness community right now. One of the major things that has been getting some good attention is rebounding. Rebounding is basically the use of sort of a small mini trampoline for your own workout. This does not mean that you need to go bounce crazy like you're at Sky Zone, launching yourself 20, 30 feet in the air. To be honest, I don't even know if any of those trampoline parks are open. But this is about just sort of gentle jumping on a trampoline. 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But basically, it gets all of the fluids moving in your body, which helps cycle them through your system so that you are able to cycle out any toxins, poisons, metabolic waste of your system. It does not mean that you need to jump, like a 7-year-old would on a trampoline for multiple hours. The other thing is jumping on a trampoline is going to help build muscular strength because you're dealing with negative G forces as you're doing it. The other thing is it's pretty low impact to no impact because you're not landing on a hard surface. So you're exercising on a soft surface. We actually offer some rebounding classes in the studio and some circuit classes that are involved in rebounding. And I have to say, it's really a lot of fun to jump. The other thing we're going to talk about a little bit is fascia. So I'm going to talk and then I'm going to pause this. This was been a buzzword for a couple years now. So it's just sort of that sheath of a fibrous connective tissue that's below your skin that it encases everything in your body. So this sort of ties into your lymph system. It does not necessarily in any way replace any sort of lymph therapy that you might be doing. In your fascia, you're going to store fat. It's going to keep you from losing heat. It protects your body from injuries. Blood and nerves are in it. And one of the ways that we can take care of it is through some rolling, which I have to say feels amazing. So I am going to stop screen sharing for a minute, go back to my big camera, welcome you out to my living room. So one of my favorite things is all I have is a racquetball here. You would not want anything super hard. These are pretty inexpensive and you can find them lots of places. I am really partial to these. There's also something you can find on the internet called a pinky ball. And that will also serve the same purpose. I would not use a lacrosse ball. I wouldn't use a golf ball. I don't know what else. I wouldn't use like a children's bouncy ball because you want something a little bit bigger than that. But one of the things that I think feels most amazing is if you pop your hand down in front of you. And so you're gonna always think about, we wanna move any fluids or anything back into your body. So you don't ever wanna use heavy pressure going away, especially if you're working on a side that may have had lymph issues. Also, if you're working on a side that you have any lymph issues or you're going through lymph therapy, you want to check with your therapist and your doctor before doing this. But just rolling this ball back your hand just feels amazing. So I am rolling it back each finger, but then I am picking up the ball and placing it back down gently. And it just feels so good. And then once you get back here, you can sort of roll up your arm. And I like sort of rolling up in gentle circles. So I'm using a little bit more pressure as I roll up a little bit higher. And then as it comes down, I'm using basically no pressure. But it's just sort of those nice circular motions on your arm working up that just feels good. But more pressure going up and it just kind of gently rolls down your skin as you're rolling down. You can also just roll it up and then let it come down and roll up and let it come down. But I think the circles feel even better. I'm gonna scoot in a little bit closer to you. I'm only gonna do one arm. If you take your ball, and again, be mindful if you have any scar tissue or anything else going on here, but just gently rolling your collarbone and through here just feels so good. But again, especially be very careful as you get towards your armpit, anything like that, just rolling gently through there, just getting that tissue moving, light pressure. I like to use the opposite hand of the side that I'm on. It's a little bit difficult to use the same hand. So again, minding any sort of notion that you have there, I think that feels really great. If you're not wearing any makeup, which most people, I've basically given up makeup between masks and not going anywhere, but rolling your face, especially if it's your own ball, just gently feels really amazing. And to be honest, you can roll pretty much anything. You just want to use heavier pressure going towards the middle of your body and a very light roll, if not moving it back away from there. I'm going to go back to my screen share so that we can talk about some research. So this is not always the most exciting thing, but I did an update of my research of what was out there in the world, and there were some new things that came out this year. So I was super excited. So up here, and I'm going to share these slides so hopefully they get out to people, but there is a direct link to each one of these articles that I'm referencing. So if anybody's a research nerd or you have insomnia and you need to read something, here is a great some great resources. So this just came out this year. So it is Pilates and dance to patients with breast cancer undergoing treatment. So this was a randomized control study, and it was based on looking at quality of life, lymphedema, fatigue, depression, body image, self-esteem, optimism, sexual function, stress, sleep disturbance, pain, muscular weakness, postural balance, range of motion, and cardiovascular fitness. It found an improvement in those that were doing Pilates and or dance. So both groups did see a little bit of the improvement in a large majority of these categories. Again, I think that just all ties back into what I think we've all learned over these last couple months is that, movement is really critical to our bodies, getting out, being active, and being safe at the same time. So here is another review. I took some liberties with this one that came out. One of the non-communicable diseases that they looked at in the study was breast cancer, and that it was a analysis of different studies that are out there, and it looked at 12 studies, and it revealed evidence that exercise tolerance and moderate evidence for improving symptoms. So you're going to be stronger, you're going to have better qualities of life. Um, this one did not say that people lost weight from it, um, but improved exercise tolerance and feeling better after that uh, definitely is something to consider in feeling better in everyday life. So we're seeing all kinds of evidence that Pilates and or any type of exercise is definitely the way to go. So this one compared walking, Pilates, yoga, and dance. Um, these did not, most of the studies showed significant improvement in quality of life for people going through treatment. And this was looking at a large number of people. You're getting studies with 3,914 patients in it is, really good evidence that we should definitely be exercising. And here is one that looked at other body rehabilitation, which is one of the big focuses of the Pink Ribbon program. And I was so happy to find this one and see it, that it definitely did help people with range of motion, feeling stronger, and improved with lymphedema, which is, a huge discomfort. This is a pretty old meta-analysis at the top, but there is a link to that. And then down below that, I'm going to talk about the study from the complementary therapies in medicine. It's more recent. It found a large reduction in anxiety and fatigue and an increased feeling of energy. I think that speaks volumes towards trying Pilates or any type of exercise, that it also makes sense that if you are feeling less anxious and less fatigued, you are probably going to have better energy. Because I know anytime that I'm feeling fatigued and anxious, I definitely have diminished energy in my day. I think we all sort of got a really good lesson in what our bodies do to us when we are under stress in the last couple months, and taught us a good bit. So another fun thing here is that it looked at falls, and I think that falls are a good thing to look at, especially if you're dealing with patients or family members or yourself are of an older age. Falling down is very detrimental to one's health. It's not something I ever want to do, and I have noticed as I have gotten older, I definitely make some decisions that diminish the risk of my falling. Like some of those crazy things that I would have tried in my 20s and 30s. I'm like, ooh, I stand for a living. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So I know that we often start standing in some of my Pink Ribbon classes that I've been teaching, just to do a little balance work and challenge your body. Walking, so that there are some different walking techniques that we've done in some of our later phase 4 classes, where we're looking at building some strength in the lower body and responding to sort of, if you were to trip, how to not fall and how to make sure your body can respond to what is being thrown at it. All right. So I would normally take some questions here before I got everyone moving. So, what I'm going to say is my email address is Allison, which is ALLISON, at absolutepilates.com. So, everything's spelled just how it should be. If you have any questions about this very brief overview that I gave you about Pink Rhythm Pilates, I would love to answer any questions about the method or the science behind the method. But what I want to do is I want to stop screen sharing again and invite everyone down to my living room floor one more time so that we can get a little bit more work in here. I'm going to give you sort of a brief taste. In previous years, I have done class so that you I've done class so that everyone could do it in a folding chair, and I have that recorded. But since we are all at home, I wanted to take the opportunity to get everyone down on the ground. And if you cannot get on the ground, that is no stress. And I would like you to get on your bed and do this, especially if you have knee issues and getting down on the floor is just too much for you. So I'm going to move through some things here. So let's take those arms straight up to the sky. And then let's just start working through our shoulder blades. So let's reach this arm straight up and then exhale, bring them down. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, sink them down. Inhaling them up to the sky. Exhaling them down. One more of those. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And then once you're here, so as this exercise progresses, we could put a TheraBand between your hands, or you could hold hand weights. But this is just a really good scapular mobility exercise that we would do early on in the Pink Rhythm program to work with you on moving through that joint. Then let's take this into some what I call goal post arms. So your arms come down and they go straight back up. And then your arms come down and they go straight back up. If my palms are turning to face towards my toes, if this is something that you can only then part way, go to a comfortable range of motion. By no means do you need to go further, taking that down and back up, down and back up, and then take your hands down to the ground, and then let your arms go back, and then bring your hands back towards your toes, towards your hips, and then take those arms back, and then take that back down, and then arms come back. Honoring your range of motion. So you can see my downward range of motion is not nearly as large as my return above my head. Taking that to wherever that will go for you. One more of those. And then bring that back. Let's just slide those hands down to your side. Let them rest for a second or just give them a little break. Let's move through your back, which always feels nice. So let's just go to a few little pelvic tilts. Just slide that tail away. Feel your low back dropping into that. Think about engaging through your glutes and then release that back out. Slide that tail away. Engage through those glutes and release that out. Slide that away. Release that out. One more of those, slide that away and release that out. Leave those hands wherever you are. Let's float those arms back up straight out of the sky. If they need to be bent, they can be bent. Let's take one arm high and one arm low, and then switch them and switch and switch and switch. One more of those, just taking that to whatever range of motion feels comfortable for you, and then bring that right back here, leaving your hands out of your sky. I like to take a few little arm circles here, taking them around, and then go the other way. And then let those hands rest down to your side. Let's go to a few more things here. So we're gonna go some leg slides. You're gonna slide your one leg out and then exhale, pull that back to you. Slide your other leg out. Exhale, pull that back to you. Lengthen and back. Lengthen and back. Finding length in that leg and then thinking about using those abdominals to pull that back in. Sliding out and back in. One more of those, lengthening that leg. Bring that back in, and then your other leg and back in. So let those hands rest down at your side. Let's take one leg up and then float it down. And then take your other leg up and put it down. If that feels like enough work for you, you can leave your legs doing that. If you feel like you can go for a little bit more challenge, take one leg up, take your other leg up. Leave them both up. Take one leg down and then your other leg down. Trying not to let that low back change shape. And then if you've got that there, we're going to let one leg pass the other. And then bring that back. You're going to roll onto a side. I forgot a prop, so lucky me, I've got one right here. So fetch a pillow. So this is all about your own personal comfort. So I want to lay on a side. So if you need your pillow under your head there so to support your head, you can. If you need it a little further out so that you can kind of hug it, that's fine too. You can use more than one pillow, whatever you need to lay on a side, as long as you're able to lay on a side. I want to do a little clam work here and then some arm work here. So your feet are going to be straight out from your hips, and then you can use this leg for balance. We're going to keep these hips from rocking backwards, and we're going to lift this top knee and then lower it and then lift it and lower it, lift it and lower it, lift it and lower it. One more of those, lift it and lower it, and then let them rest down. And then we're going to do what's referred to as the feel good arm circles. I think this is the best option for your pillow. If you can get into this position comfortably, this is one of the best feeling exercises that you can do. And you just want to take it at your own range of motion. So you're going to start by sliding your hands out further, turning your head to look down at the pillow in front of you. Circle that arm around, letting it lift if you need, rolling all the way to the other side, opening that chest and bringing that arm back around. So monitoring your range of motion wherever that goes. I'm working with healthy shoulders here, so your circles may not look like mine. You can do 3 to 5 in each direction. So we're going to take that hand low, circle it around your head, and back down, and then down, around, circle it, and up. And then let's come up. Have you sit right here. Let your feet come just a little bit apart. Mind my head cut off. Sorry about that. And then you're going to reach your hands forward and then roll yourself back up tall. Reach your hands forward towards your toes, finding that big stretch in your back. You may want your pillow underneath your hips to add a little added support and stack tall. One more of those, reaching that forward and then lift back up. I want to do those leg circles on the other side as clams for some symmetry. So you've got yourself here. Find the pillow option that's working for you. I'm going to lift myself up just a little bit. To start with my clam. So hips are stacked, and you're going to lift that knee and lower it, lift it and lower it. Thinking about not letting yourself roll backwards, lifting that knee and lowering it, lifting it and lowering it, lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. One more of those, And then let that come down. Let's adjust your pillow to wherever that's going to work for you. And then bring those hands right on top of one another. Roll forward. Sweep that arm around your head. Open, circle, and bring that close. Sweep, circle, and that. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to take that down, roll forward. Take that hand low, circle around, and that. And forward, down, circle around, and back. And you can just roll over onto your back. I'm just going to do a full sort of spin circle. So take that pillow and prop it underneath your head now that I've had you get it. And it just kind of gives you a nice little lift there. So from here, we're going to reach back, grab a hold of your shoulders so that your elbows are lifted here. And then let's just make some gentle elbow circles, taking them wherever they'll go. Moving around, seeing as if you do these, you can find a little bit more mobility. And then let's switch directions with that circle. Take that around, down, and up, around, down, and up, around, down, and up. One more of those. And then bring that back. So let's bring those hands wherever they'll land. So they can be here, rested across your chest, down even lower. If they'll go behind your head, take them there. I know that's a big chest opener for people, but if you can hang out there, it kind of feels good. And then you are going to think about taking a nice big inhale and then exhale. Just peel up, feeling those abdominals turn on, and then back and down. Really supporting that head, not going too far. Just coming up till you feel a little bit of engagement there, and then down. And you're thinking about keeping space between your chin here as you lift and lower, not making this big. One last one of those. Really feeling that turn on, and then down. Let's let that come down. Let's let that head rest. Just because I'm going to have you move the other half of your body, I would like you to remove your pillow. If you want some lower body engagement, let's put it between your knees. And we're going to return to that pelvic tilt, sliding your tail away and then resting that down. And if that feels like enough engagement for you, you can continue there and then down. And then if you have a little bit more, you're going to slide your tail away, roll your hips up into the air, and then roll back and down. And then start from your tail, slide your tail away, roll your hips up into the air, squeezing through those glutes, and then roll back and down, and slide your tail away, roll your hips up into the air, squeeze through those glutes, and then lower back and down, and then leave that there. And let's just let your knees windshield wiper to one side and then windshield wiper to the other side. One more of those. And then bring that back to the middle. Let's do one more thing here. Let's float that leg up, float your other leg up. Find a little bit of tension in those knees and give that pillow a little squeeze and relax. A little squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. One more of those, squeeze and release. Pop those feet down, and then let's take that hands to your side. One last big thing here. Float those arms up. I'm gonna do both arms at the same time. They may not come all the way up. So as I get to about here, I feel my ribs lifting. So I'm gonna stop, circle around with my arms, and then come down, up, circle, around, and down. One last circle, up, over, around, and down. So I'll pop back up. So thank you so much, everybody, for moving with me today. I want to sort of remind you, I gave some options as we were going through that. Those were sort of a smattering of exercises that belong in different levels. When you're doing any of this, if you just watched this and didn't move with me, remember to listen to your body no matter what you have going on. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And I am also going to share some full length classes that you can do at your leisure. I hope that that was informative, and I hope that everyone gives Pilates a try, because really, whether it's specifically the pink rhythm Pilates method or any type of exercise, it's been proven by research that it's going to help you feel stronger. You're going to have better posture, and you are going to actually build some strength. So that I hope you can move better, feel better, and have a great day. So thank you again for your time. And again, reach out to me, Allison at absolutepilates.com, if you have any questions.